if the former, twice impeached, disgraced president thinks he's such a young spring chicken, I mean, he's going to be 78 when Joe Biden is 81. And so I don't like this ageism argument. But I will say,
true.
Yeah.
Biden, when he was here, I asked him, he works out every day.
Yeah.
I don't think Trump does. Take a look.
Yeah.
He works out every day.
Yeah.
I don't think Trump does. Take a look.
Yeah.
Understand.
Let me tell you.
Several days later.
Joe Biden, wake up.
Yeah, so that did not age well for Joy Behar, as it doesn't seem like their Lord and Savior, their God, their daddy, their papi chula, Joe Biden, who doesn't seem to be very fit to do anything, including ride a bike or be president of the United States. But hey, that doesn't stop the cackling hands of The View from cheering on the Democrat Party and being their propaganda artists, because it seems like that is literally all they're paid to do. Because I can't believe they're getting paid at all to talk about politics on TV, because they simply sound dumb and stupid, right? And I think that Joy Behar might be the dumbest of all the cackling hands, as she said some really dumb things over the past few days that I want to talk about. But before I get in that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so, including getting yourself one of my signature racist mugs, which is a daily reminder of the definition of racist according to the Democrat Party, which is anybody who disagrees with them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this clip of Joy Behar on Juneteenth, reminding Black America how we're supposedly systemically oppressed, and peddling the Democrat conspiracy theory that somehow our voting rights are being taken away from us.
We should be aware on a day like this that voting rights are being systematically taken away from African Americans and other people too in this country. You got to be very, very careful. You can celebrate the day, which we do, but there are very important issues at stake here this year. So it's a good day to reflect on that, I think.
Except there's just one problem.
Tomorrow is the last day of early voting before the primary on Tuesday. We are seeing record-breaking numbers this cycle. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger's office says as of last night, more than 565,000 people have cast their ballots. That's a 153% increase from the same point in the early voting period in the 2018 primary election, and it's a 189% increase from the 2020 primary election. Today, we asked him about those numbers.
What's your reaction to this record-breaking voter turnout?
It's fantastic. What it shows is it's never been easier to vote in Georgia, but we have the appropriate guardrails so that security's in place. And when you have strong security, that elevates people's confidence in the process.
So obviously Joy Behar, because she is a Democrat propaganda artist and her only job is to peddle propaganda and talking points from the Democrat Party, didn't know that in Georgia, the place where the voting rights of Black people and so-called minorities being taken away, right, or supposed to be taken away, allegedly they're being taken away, according to the Democrat Party, they had the highest minority turnout ever in their primary, okay? Again, a fact that you would think that the producers of The View would tell Joy Behar before she went on national TV and repeated a conspiracy theory from the Democrat Party that is just objectively and 100% false, right? But again, it's not like this show actually really cares about facts. So that being said, on to the next stupid Joy Behar take that really just sounds out of touch, okay? I want you guys to listen to how Joy Behar talks about the issues of inflation and gas prices.
I think that people need to start caring about this because inflation will go away.
Do you think inflation is going to get worse, or do you see it having maybe peaked in March?
Well, it may have peaked, but look, inflation has been high, and I think the shocks emanating from this unjustified attack on Ukraine will prolong inflationary pressures. So the outlook is uncertain. As you know, the Fed is taking steps to bring inflation down, but I think we'll have to put up with high inflation for a while longer.
What's the other thing that they're worried about? The gas prices?
What happens when important emergency services that are already spread thin from a couple years of the pandemic can't even afford to fill up their tanks? It's becoming a bigger problem in some parts of the country, forcing some fire departments and EMS services to limit the kinds of calls they can respond to.
The high cost of fuel isn't just making your commute more expensive. It's also forcing emergency responders in smaller communities to cut costs. For some, it means not responding to non-emergency calls.
Those will change because that's really on the oil companies.
First, I'm doing everything in my power to blunt Putin's gas price hike. Just since he invaded Ukraine, it's gone up $1.74 a gallon because of nothing else but that.
Yeah. But democracy is with us if we keep it.
Oh my God. Not only does she not know what she's talking about, she can't even remember the Democrat talking points and propaganda that she's supposed to be spewing. Okay. But again, listen to how she talks about inflation and gas prices. She's dismissive of it as if she really doesn't care. Well, what's the other thing they're talking about? Gas prices and inflation? Right now, again, you can't really believe Janet Yellen in regards to the whole inflation thing because she was wrong about it being transitory. However, I mean, Janet Yellen is saying that, yeah, inflation's kind of here to stay, right, for a little bit. Okay. Again, when it comes to gas prices, she can't even remember the talking point that it's supposed to be Putin's fault. Remember, it's not supposed to be the oil company's fault. It's supposed to be Putin's fault, right? But again, what she's saying here, the crux of what she's saying, guys, is that the so-called attack on democracy, aka January 6th, is more important than inflation and gas prices, right? To her, as a rich, white, liberal elite in New York City, okay, the so-called attack on democracy, January 6th, is more important. We should be paying more attention to that than high gas prices and inflation. Incredible stuff. Right, and then this one right here really takes the cake, okay? In which Joy Behar pretends like the Democrat Party has never threatened violence at all when it comes to trying to achieve a political objective. Take a look.
I mean, what is happening in the world? Is it we can just threaten anybody now with no consequences?
Look, the Republican Party has become the party of insurrection, revolt, and violence. Yeah. And they don't make any bones about it anymore. I mean, this guy should be, you didn't even see the ad, which I saw on CNN. Yeah. It's quite violent, and they're acting like it's funny. It's not funny. You know, the Democrats have the dinos, so let's put it. The Democrats in name only, in a way. You could say mansion and cinema in that category. You don't see us threatening their lives.
Our peaceful protesters. Joe Manchin's car slowly pressing into our peaceful protesters.
So then we want to talk to you real quick. Want to talk to you real quick?
Hi, actually, I am heading out.
But right now is a real moment that our people need in order for us to be able to talk about what's really happening. We need a Build Back Better plan right now.
We're not going to door. We need solutions. The Build Back Better plan has the solutions that we need.
The Democrats are not the party of violence.
Wow.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
The Democrats are not the party of violence.
Yeah, incredible. I have no clue how in the world Joy Behar is this dumb. She can't be this dumb. Okay, she's either that dumb or she's experiencing some extreme cognitive dissonance, right? I think it's both. I don't know how she gets paid, right? Millions of dollars to be on TV and to say stuff like this. But hey, that's America. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.